stay away, don't invest fresh money into the company, into such stocks.
All right, we've got some quotes coming in from Wilbur Ross as well. He's in India and has met with Suresh Prabhu, saying that US is India's largest export market, but India's trade policies are restrictive. India's applied tariff rate is 13.8%, highest in any major world economy. That's the US Commerce Secretary, Wilbur Ross. In fact, ET Now's Parisha Tyagi caught up with Director General of the COAI, Rajan Mathews, to get his take on these comments on India being stringent with regards to trade policies. Listen in.
One of the areas that he mentioned was the trade imbalance arising out of the 20% duties that are put on telecom equipment. Yes. I think we have raised a similar concern with the DOT because, again, this is not a high-end, this is for the masses. We provide cellular service at a very, very affordable rate, and the handset is one of the critical elements that leads to the empowerment of women, minorities, bottom of the pyramid. So I think it's a good point that he made. I think obviously both countries have their particular focus and their priorities, but I think the message that Minister Prabhu laid out is that it's a matter of cooperation and partnership. Both countries have to come up together with saying what makes sense for both countries. Yes, there are anomalies here, and yes, there are trade imbalances, but the way forward is to understand the opportunities and how do we maximize that. And I think that is a very clear message.
So on a larger front, do you think there is concern for India, as he also mentioned India's FDI policies, and the US did not seem very happy with overall tariff policies. So do you think any concern emerging now for India-US trade?
I think, there's that old saying, the rising tide lifts all ships. And I think Mr. Prabhu, Honorable Minister, made that particular point. He says when global trade expands, then all countries tend to benefit. So I think that is clearly the way forward. Yes, there are particular instances where the policy, the industrial policy of a country focusing on manufacturing in India will have certain trade barriers, and of course in the long term those will reduce. Now, a great example he gave was, yes, today we have a trade imbalance to the benefit of India. In a couple of years when we're looking to buy Boeing airplanes, right, he gave an example. So I think these are structural issues that are temporary, and I think as we move forward there's plenty of opportunities to make sure that the rising tide lifts all ships.
My last question, sir. What do you think of the line of the day, Make America Greater with India's partnership? So what do you think of that?
I think it really goes to the heart of the whole issue of global trade. I think any restrictive issues, be it from any country, ultimately constrains the opportunities for people in both countries or in multiple countries. And I think the broader is the opportunities we give for cross-border investments, for cross-border partnerships, for cross-border opportunities. I think ultimately everybody makes the benefit of that, and that's been proved economically. I mean, all the theories of economics show that that is the way forward, and I think both Minister Prabhu and Secretary Ross made that particular emphasis, saying, guys, let's not be me too and restrictive. Let's open it up. Let's make sure both countries work together and do the benefit of all.
All right, and moving away from that, let's focus in on individual stocks and Aavas Financiers in focus. In fact, the shares are at an all-time high as the street continues